What's going on, guys? Jose here. Welcome to episode 3 of First Round by the podcast, accompanied here by my boy, Mr. Sauceman. What's going
What's
on?
up, guys? Guess what we're going to be talking about today? We're going to be talking about the top 5 quarterbacks in the National Football League, aka the NFL, or also the No Fun League.
What?
I'm
I don't
just
know about
kidding.
that one.
The NFL. We're going to be talking about we're going to give you guys our top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. More than likely, it's probably not going to shock you guys because everybody else out there, I think it's a pretty good consensus as who the top quarterbacks are in the NFL, with the exception of like one or two. So this should be kind of interesting, I would think. So good old Josie over there.
So, yeah, let's jump right into it. So, I'm not going to go in particular order. I'm just going to kind of throw them out there. Kind of let you guys decide what you guys think. And I'm just here on the app where I got all the quarterbacks. I'm on the fantasy app actually, so just because I say Patrick Mahomes does not mean he's number one,
I
but
mean, but we already know he is number one.
more than likely.
More than
So
likely.
I got Patrick Mahomes, right? You can't go wrong with him in your top five, arguably top two. Some will put him at one. I mean, there's other people who will probably have him at two. Personally, I think currently he's probably my top quarterback right now, but I'm not going to go into that right now. So Patrick Mahomes,
Mm-hmm.
Tom Brady,
Of course.
Russell Wilson,
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers,
All right.
and Josh Allen. All right, and then I'm gonna throw a little twist to this.
Oh.
So we'll do a sleeper.
Okay.
All right. So a quarterback that I think, and this quarterback shocked a lot of people last year. All right, he definitely shocked me. Picked him up week 3 on the waiver wires in my fantasy league, and he worked wonders for me. Um, I think he's gonna easily, probably slide into that top 5 conversation by mid-season, if not by the end of the season for sure. And that young man goes by the name of Mr. Justin Herbert.
Interesting. Okay. I could see that. He was very surprising this last year. He was just kind of slinging it around. He was doing a really good job.
Yo, he balled out, man.
He did a really solid job. All right, so obviously my top 5. I've got and they're in no particular order other than the number 1 quarterback. And I'm going to go ahead and say it. It's definitely Patrick Mahomes for me. And I would say that before last year that I would say the gap between Patrick Mahomes and the next best quarterback was pretty large. Now, after the season is over and everything, I think it's gotten a little bit closer, but he's still my bona fide number 1. So, other than him, everybody else is kind of just like in a random order. But you can't go wrong with Pat Mahomes at number 1. I mean, a case could be made for possibly Tom Brady up there still, just because he is balling out at the age that he's at. So that's nuts. But he's also one of my top 5. So Patrick Mahomes at the very top, tippy top. I also got Tom Brady in there. I've also got Aaron Rodgers because he plays at a high level. And then I've got Russell Wilson. Dude's a madman. Always consistently doing wonders. And rounding out my top 5, it's kind of a weird one. So
This is interesting.
and the only reason why I'm choosing this, okay, I'll just go ahead and say it. It's Ryan Tannehill.
Ryan Tannehill.
I gotta put him at number 5. The only reason why I have him at number 5 and not say like Deshaun Watson, who is an incredible quarterback, but we all know that the off the field stuff is gonna probably keep him from playing this year, or at least it's gonna be in the limelight a lot more than his play is gonna be. But there's some other guys in there. I mean, you can make a case for obviously Justin Herbert or even like maybe a Kyler Murray or Josh Allen. Josh Allen is another guy that I've heard being thrown in the top 5. Only reason why I do not have him in my top 5 is because Josh Allen he hasn't done enough for me consistently for me to be able to put him in there just yet. But he is way up there. another reason why I put Tannehill in there is because ever since he's became a Titan, um, he has orchestrated the top offense that the Titans have seen in a long time. I know that they've got Derrick Henry still. I understand that, but all the metrics that I've seen over time have put Tannehill as a top five quarterback. Actually right up there with Mahomes in terms of like accuracy, touchdowns, interceptions, all that good stuff. The only thing he lacks though is volume. Like that's one of the main knocks I have on him is volume, and also his play in the playoffs because I also weigh that in pretty heavily with quarterbacks. I would also actually say though, my sleeper, honestly, Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield, man.
I would say that he could hop up in there, but a lot of that has to do with his supporting cast, almost more so than his actual ability. But but I would also say Justin Herbert. I think he's gonna be at least within the next year or two. He's gonna be considered a top quarterback. He's a phenomenal quarterback. He that dude would he got so unlucky. That Chargers team got so unlucky so many games last year because I think they had the most like games that were decided with like like within 3 points or 6 points or something like that. I
You,
think I remember seeing that.
that's actually the Patriots as well. And I'm not, I hate to keep bringing them up, but they lost. I forgot how many games they lost, but um, a lot of the games that they did lose, it was within like a field goal,
Yeah,
or a lot of them was down to like the last play.
which is actually what I like to see in an NFL football game, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, Justin Herbert, he was throwing it around really well. Granted, he has Keenan Allen to toss it to and stuff. But I mean, if you look at all the top quarterbacks got a top wide receiver to toss it to. I mean, Russell Wilson's got DK and Tyler Lockett.
Tyler
Tyler Lockett's
Lockett,
great.
yeah, he's really consistent. He's really dependable, man. I mean, they've been together for a while, so they got that chemistry going. So
Yep.
I know it. He really looks towards Lockett a lot, especially with DK on the other side. Whenever
Yep.
he's getting that extra coverage, he's got Lockett right there.
Well, shoot, last year during fantasy, I had Lockett on my squad, and one of our friends had DK on the squad, and so it was funny because it was basically like trading off almost every other week as to who was going to get more looks and stuff.
Yeah,
And I think that Tyler Lockett actually ended up having it was more consistent
right.
with how many looks he got. But I mean, of course, Brady he has Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, um,
Cameron Brate,
Cameron Brate. Yeah,
OJ Howard,
he's
Scotty
got
Miller.
he's got so many weapons. And then of course we all know that Pat Mahomes. He's got Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelsey. Those other speedy wide receivers that the Chiefs have too, Robinson and
Hardman
Williams.
and Hardman as
Yeah,
well.
Hardman. Gosh, he's so fast. But yeah, and I will say this: there is one quarterback that I have a hard time putting in any top category, but other people very much disagree with me on it. You
What was
ready?
that?
Uh, the one quarterback I absolutely just cannot stand, Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson. Hmm.
Fantasy wise, pretty good quarterback.
Well, hold
Actually,
on.
playing quarterback,
I don't know, man. It's been kind of weird these past couple years. So, of course, 2 years ago he had that season, MVP season. He balled out, did his thing. And then last year he didn't really do as well as the previous year. But I mean, you can't. I don't know. Like he's kind of like hit or miss.
mm-hmm.
Like he reminds me a lot of like Baker Mayfield. Like I like Baker Mayfield, but I'm not a big fan of his game. Like I don't know. Like he either does well or he doesn't. Like there's no
Yep,
average. He either wins you the game or he costs you the game.
exactly.
Like I don't know.
He's not very consistent,
Really inconsistent.
and that's one thing that kind of bothers me about Baker. But I definitely do see the talent. But also, like you said with Lamar Jackson, he's just so inaccurate at times, and he's just so inconsistent, and it's just mind-boggling and stuff. And actually, I think the year that he won MVP isn't that the year that they lost to the Titans in the playoffs?
The Ravens.
Yeah,
I don't recall, to be honest.
I think so, but I'm not quite sure because I know that the Ravens ended up winning last year in the
Hmm.
playoffs against the Titans, at least. But yeah, no, Lamar Jackson's always been kind of a wild card for me. I mean, he can sling it and stuff, but um, his accuracy's up for question or up for debate. And he's also going into a big year. This is his, I believe, his fourth year,
I think so.
and so they can. He's either playing for a contract or going for that, or they're going to make the decision on that fifth-year option. And so, who knows? We'll see what they decide to do. But yeah, that's my top five. I mean, like you said, some of these guys that I mean, you don't really have to argue for or against them, especially the pretty much consensus top four
Right.
because they got the pedigree for it and they show a ridiculous amount of talent and stuff. But yeah, so I'm curious though. You said that right now Pat Mahomes would be your number one. You also said that he would most likely be looked at as top two. So I have a feeling I know who the other quarterback is that you would place either on par with him or greater than him. But who might that be?
I don't know, man. I mean, it kind of just depends on who you ask. Like, if you go to, one of these NFL pages on Facebook, Instagram, wherever, you always have people just kind of arguing back and forth. Oh, no, it's not this person. It's not that person. But for
Right.
me, I mean, it's got to be the mix up between those other four guys or three guys that I mentioned earlier. So, of course, you got to put Tom Brady in there. Like, every year, it's the same deal with him. Same deal. It's like, oh, Tom Brady's great, but this and that. But every year he's winning the damn Super Bowl, so it's like,
I
you know what I
know.
mean. And I know it's not obviously just him winning it, but you can't win the Super Bowl without a quarterback. And then of course you got Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, and who else did
I
I
think at the
say?
start of the season last year, Russell Wilson made a very good case for being
Dude, he was
the
on
top.
fire for
Yeah.
like the first half or something like that,
Yeah.
and then he kind of just started
He just
slowing down
kind
a
of
little
fell
bit.
off, which is weird too, especially considering the fact that he had both DK and Tyler Lockett. Like that's just nuts. But
Yep.
no, I can see that. I can understand that too.
It just
Um,
depends on who you ask.
I just know that my consensus, like, and I actually a long time ago, whenever he was getting drafted, I think it was whenever Texas Tech played against OU, whenever it was Baker
Yeah,
against
whenever
Pat
they
Mahomes.
threw like close to, was it 1,000
Yeah,
yards
they put out
total?
so much offensive
Yeah.
output. I actually told my buddies that I was watching the game with, I was like, yo, I think this Pat Mahomes kid, I think he's going to be really good,
Hmm.
especially at the next level. And they were like, oh man, I don't know. And I had at least half the people that we worked with at the time. They were telling me they were like, oh, I don't know if he's going to be that good. I think he's going to be okay, but I think he's going to be like backup level.
Right.
And then he starts playing, he starts balling out, and guess what? For once, I was right on something. So I can at least sit here and say that I called Pat Mahomes being a great quarterback. So
You just never know with these guys, man. I mean, look at freaking Johnny Manziel, Robert RG3. Who are some other notable?
Tim Tebow,
Tim Tebow. I
Colt
mean,
McCoy.
Cole McCoy. Oh my God! Don't even get me started, man. Jesus.
Dude, I thought Colt McCoy was going to be so freaking good.
Me too. Vince Young. Speaking about Texas
Oh
quarterbacks.
man, dude, I was about to say that's the guy. Don't even get me started on him because I loved it. He was actually my very first Titans jersey
Hmm.
that I bought with my own money. All the other times I ever got them gifted to me and stuff. Obviously, if they're gifted to you, then they're never going to be the right size. But yeah, very first Titans jersey that I bought.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned that. I remember when I was a kid. I was actually like I considered myself a Titans fan for a little bit just because
Ooh,
Vince Young was there. Yeah, yeah. I had like a bunch of Patriots like merchandise, just calendar shit like that, and I had like a couple of Titan stickers. But I was a little Titans fan for a little while just because of Vince Young, and then kind of just fell off
I
soon
feel like for
as
a little
he
while
fell off.
everybody's a Titans fan for a little bit. You know,
Yeah.
they stay on there because I mean, heck, right now, I bet if nobody else has any other team that they usually root for, like if they just casually watch the NFL, they might probably root for the Titans because of Derrick Henry,
Mm.
for example. So, because people like to root for players more than teams a lot of times.
Right. See, I like DK, man. DK Metcalf and Russell Wilson too. But those are two
Yep.
of my favorite players that aren't on my favorite team.
Okay, so let me ask you this real quick. Um, Out of any other player in the league that's not a Patriots player, which would be the first jersey that you would get? That's not a Patriots player.
Probably DK Metcalf or I'm still kind of butthurt with Derrick Henry. I'll save that story again for another time. But man, uh, probably DK Metcalf. I can't really think of anyone else right now.
Yeah, I felt that. I would say that mine is kind of twofold because as much as I hate the Chiefs, I'm a big Pat Mahomes fan. So I'd rock a Pat Mahomes jersey for sure.
For sure.
But I would say that the only other one, well, I say the only other one, another one that I like a lot, Mike Evans,
Mike Evans. Yep.
because I like the player. I love the Bucks' uniforms. Like their jerseys are so cool,
Hmm.
especially their home jerseys or even that pewter color.
Yep.
But yeah, I just for a long time actually, my NFC team was the Bucks.
Yeah.
I like them a lot.
Mike Evans is a beast too. I think this last season was his sixth season with topping 1,000 yards or something like that.
Yeah, dude's nasty. Plus, he also he plays video games a lot. He actually used to play in some Call of Duty and Fortnite
Hmm.
tournaments with Mr. Nick Merckx. Him and Nick Merckx are actually buddies. So you know that Nick Merckx was excited whenever whenever they won the Super Bowl because Mike Evans is his dude. Which I don't blame him. Mike Evans is he seems like a good dude. I don't know him personally, honestly, but
Honestly.
he still seems like a good dude.
Right.
But yeah, so yeah, I think that that's a pretty solid list. And like I said before, I think that most everybody's going to have a very similar list to what we have and stuff. Other than rounding out the top five,
Right.
I think a good discussion for another episode would be probably rounding out that top 10
Yeah, for sure.
because yeah, there are definitely some quarterbacks out there that have something to prove or that have proved already that they deserve in that spot.
Right.
So there you have it.
All right, guys. I think that's gonna wrap up today's episode. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you agree or disagree, let us know down below and tell us what you think. Steven, you got anything else?
Just like always make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell for post notifications. That way you know anytime we post another episode because we enjoy doing this. So we hope that you guys enjoy listening as well.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys next time.